This quantum conversion system is incredible. Flawless connection, even up here, and totally secure.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're deconstructing a really interesting proposition. It connects some seriously futuristic technology with a pretty unique financial opportunity, especially for those of you with an online presence. We're going to break down the promise, the pitch, and of course, the price.
All right, so here's how we're going to tackle this. We'll start with the big vision, this whole new internet. Then we'll narrow it down to the opportunity it supposedly presents. And finally, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the financial structure. It's a clear path, so you can see how all the pieces fit together.
Okay, let's just dive right in. So the source material we're looking at describes this massive upgrade to the internet as we know it. They're calling it the dawn of the quantum internet, or QNet for short. And this isn't just a small tweak. It's being pitched as a called QTA, which stands for Quantum Transceiver Antenna. You can think of this QTA as the engine that's supposed to power this whole new era of connectivity. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The claims about what this QTA technology can do sound like they're straight out of science fiction. I mean, we're talking about things like interdimensional operation, the ability to penetrate solid objects, or ambient energy harvesting, which suggests your devices could just pull power out of the air. It's a pretty wild list of features. So what's the point of all this futuristic tech? Well, it's designed to solve what the documents call the last inch problem. You know that feeling, right? That frustrating final gap in connectivity where your signal just struggles or drops completely. That's the exact problem this is supposed to fix, for good. And how does it do that? Well, it's all about you, but QTA is designed to tap into both the wave and the particle nature of energy. The idea is that this makes for a much more stable and efficient signal. It's a whole new approach. And look, this isn't all just theory. To back these claims up, the source material points to independent testing. It says that QTA demonstrated a signal gain of 15 to 40 decibels over Samsung antennas. Now, for those of you who aren't signal engineers, that is a huge improvement. And they say these gains were verified not just in a lab, but in real-world calls. Okay, so we have this potentially groundbreaking technology, but how does that translate into an opportunity for you? This is where it pivots. The sources claim that this new tech creates a unique window of opportunity, especially for people who have already built an online community. They call it the grandfather advantage. It's basically a limited time opportunity. The whole idea is to reward people for the digital groundwork they've already laid. So if you have a following, if you've built a network online, that community is suddenly positioned as a major asset in this new ecosystem. The value proposition is laid out as a really simple three-step process. Step 1, you already have your online community. Step 2, you help integrate them into this new QNet system. And step 3, you receive what they're calling asset-backed tokens as a reward. Pretty straightforward, right? And this is a really key point they emphasize. These aren't just any digital tokens. They're described as asset-backed. What does that mean? It means their value is supposed to be tied to tangible, real-world mineral assets. And to give this credibility, they say the valuation is done using the NI 43101 International Reporting Standard. So they're trying to position this as something with real, verifiable value. Okay, so now we get to the how. How does this all grow? How do you actually get paid? This is where we get into the nuts and bolts of the affiliate growth model, which is designed for really rapid adoption. All right, according to their compensation plan, there are basically two main ways to earn. First, you've got what they call the leverage fee bonus. Think of this as a direct one-time commission you get for signing someone up. Then there's the team production bonus, and this is the big one. It's a recurring monthly income that comes from your entire team's sales volume. So one is immediate, the other is long-term. So how does that team grow? The whole model is based on a super simple duplication formula. It goes like this. You join, then you just bring in one friend every 45 days. They do the same thing, and if that pattern holds, after just 12 months, your downline could have 64 affiliates. It's all about that exponential growth. Okay, so that's the growth model, but here's the crucial part. How do you actually access those rewards? Well, it all comes down to a multi-tiered compensation ladder. And the key thing to understand is that your upfront investment directly dictates your earning potential. So let's break down these tiers. So the journey starts with these entry tiers. At the very bottom, you have Stellar for $95. That gets you a 5% direct bonus. Want to double that to 10%? You've got to jump up to Nebula for $495. And to get to 15%, you're looking at the quantum level for nearly $1,000. The pattern's pretty clear, right? The more you pay to get in, the higher your bonus percentages are. But wait, look closely at that first level, the $95 stellar entry. Your team production bonus is 0. A big fat 0. What does that mean? It means at this level, you only earn money from the people you personally recruit. You get nothing from the growth of your wider team. That's a really critical detail. So you climb through those first few tiers, and then you hit the mid-tiers, and then bam. There is a massive financial leap to get to what they call the executive levels. And that first big jump, it requires an investment of $9,570. And what's really fascinating here is how the source material itself frames this. They actually describe this nearly $10,000 supernova tier as, and I'm quoting here, the best way to get in. So they're not hiding it. They're positioning this as the real entry point for people who are serious. So let's put the bottom and the top side by side for a second. At the stellar tier, you pay $95 for a 5% direct bonus and 0 team bonus. At the supernova tier, you pay almost $10,000, but your direct bonus and your team bonus both jump to 50%. So you're looking at a 100-fold increase in cost for a 10-fold increase in commission rates. It's a really stark trade-off. And when you visualize the costs, it becomes incredibly clear. The path up this ladder is not a gentle slope, it's not a straight line. You go from the tiny $95 entry up to a couple of thousand for the mid-tiers, and then you hit this absolute wall, that monster leap to nearly $10,000. The financial commitment really does grow exponentially. So we've looked at the incredible tech they're promising, and we've broken down the compensation ladder. This whole structure, from the technology all the way to the buy-in tiers, brings us to one final big question. So based on everything we've just walked through, the model presents a very direct link between what you put in financially and what you can potentially get out. This leads us to the central question of this whole thing. In a system where your access to higher earning percentages is directly tied to a much bigger upfront financial commitment, what is the real relationship between your financial risk and your earning opportunity? It's something to really think about.